Shalom, shalom. This is Shalomah from the Great Millstone Atlanta Camp. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rahawadash. Double honors to my elders and apostles, the Great Millstone, that teach and rule well. Peace, love, and safety to the hopeful elect. And I'm just going to go into some various topics. And, just looking through media, news, and social media, people if people know what time it is, they know when America has never been, which is Babylon the Great, has never been in a spot so tight like how it is now. People don't. It's like they're forgetting one thing happened when another thing happens. They're forgetting about the economy collapsing. They're forgetting about what's going on in these other countries. Iran, Israel, the tariffs, the beef with Russia, and all of these things outside of the country, because there's so much going on inside the country, and it's all closing in. All prophecy is now closing in. Of course, the mark of the beast is going to be implemented, which is going to be in the form of an implant. It's going to be implemented, and once the economy falls, or to prevent the economy from collapsing, that's going to be in place. But you're going to have, like the scriptures say, wars, rumors of wars. It's going to be civil wars. Isaiah 19. As a matter of fact, let's just read and not just speak on it. Verse 2. I started verse 1. It says, the burden of Egypt. Now, this is not talking about the land of Egypt. For those that don't know, this is spiritual Egypt and Sodom, which is spoken of in Revelation 11. It says the burden of Egypt. And let me just go a little further instead. It talks about Egypt because Egypt was known for the land of bondage, and Sodom was known for sodomy. And what country today is known for those two things? America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. All right. So it says the burden of Egypt. I don't know what that was about. I'm just holding my phone in my hand. It's Satan. It says, the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. All right, so yeah, the spirit of this place is collapsing. It's dying. It's you got patriotism on both sides. You got people. As a matter of fact, there was a guy, another Edomite, or it looked like an Edomite, so-called white man. They had a visual for this guy that recently lost his life, or if that actually did happen, because there's a lot of things coming out behind that. The big, I'm not going to speak on it because speak on his name, but what I'm talking about. Caused all the uproar. The guy that was supposedly shot in the neck. So they was having a vigil for him, and it seemed like Edomites really hated this guy more than Israelites, even though he talked a lot of crap about so-called black men, so-called Native American men. Well, not really Native American, Hispanic, talking about the so-called illegals, which this land was taken from Native Americans and the Hispanic tribes. But he spoke on that a lot. But these are not the people that's doing all of the interruptions of what's going on with his as far as his mourning. You don't see Jake out there, coming up against Esau about about how this guy was wrong. But yeah, anyway, so-called Edomite, he went trampling through all of the candles and the balloons and flowers and all of the stuff they had sitting out. And you had another guy that was, yelling F his name. He was attacked by a group of other Edomites. And that brings me to the next scripture. I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against another. Aslaki, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. All right, so the Egyptians against the Egyptians, that's talking about the so-called white man coming up against himself. As a matter of fact, hold on, I'm going to get some, because I did some screenshots on some of these videos I saw. Okay, so these are some of the videos that, Esau talking about it's time to rise up and, come at them with force. And they're talking about basically gearing up for a war because this guy was basically unalived by another Edomite. So Jake just sitting back watching it like it's a movie. Then you had Esau making fun of it, saying, let's see who's the shooter is. And it was another Edomite. Yeah, this is Egyptians against the Egyptians. So yeah, that was, of course, Jake got to be comical with it, but they're not the ones out there causing a lot of the uproars. It's Esau against Esau. All right, so back to the scripture. It says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. But yeah, these people, just looking for an answer some type of way. They're gonna be going to so-called psychics, trying to see what the future of this place is gonna be like. If they should continue to pay their mortgage, pay their car notes and all that stuff, life insurance, because if a major catastrophic event like a civil war breaks out, can you imagine what is going to happen to the insurance industry? All those trillions of dollars that they have, it's going to plummet because there's going to be trillions on top of trillions of dollars worth of damage and lives lost. Life insurance is not even going to matter anymore. Scriptures talk about how it's going to be so much blood in the streets and bodies, just laying. And they're not even going to, as a matter of fact, let's get that. Let's go, I think it speaks of it in Ezekiel 7, because it talks about violence is risen up. Verse 11, Ezekiel 7:11, violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, nor their multitude, nor any of theirs, neither shall there be any dwelling for them. The time is come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. Yeah, it ain't gonna be nobody, mourning these deaths like that. It's gonna be everyone for himself. It's gonna be so much death. There's going to be so much death and so many diseases and the famine and all of that stuff. It's going to be all out chaos. Verse 15, the sword is without and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. A lot of these people in these cities they're going to catch it the worst because they can't go out into the woods and find food. They can't go out and hunt. They stuck in the city. A lot of these people in the city are going to be eating other people. Yeah, it's about to get really bad out here. But yeah, this one guy was talking about, I think that the UAPs, all of the UFOs, World War III, Civil War, and all of these things, the economy. He was like, I think all this stuff is connected. You damn right it is. It ain't connected by the government. It has something to do with the government, but this is all of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. I haven't brought this scripture out in a long time, but it is a major scripture that we go into. Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1 all the way down to verse 5. Actually, verse 6. It says, he answered me then and said, measures thou the time diligently in itself. And this is Uriel talking to Ezra, or Esdras. He says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Are we not seeing these major earthquakes? Just about 3 days ago, there was an earthquake. They said the 6th biggest earthquake recorded in the history. And just a month prior to that, it was the 3rd biggest earthquake ever recorded. So these earthquakes are getting stronger and stronger. Sooner or later, it's gonna be the biggest earthquake on record. And that's probably going to hit California. That's another way that's going to collapse this economy. One state can get hit with something so catastrophic, it could crash the whole economy. Folks are going to go haywire. Everything is going to stop. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read this and I'm going to go to 2 Ezra 14. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So the end of this place was already written. It's going to happen. Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effect and signs. And when you go to a lot of different scriptures, Joel chapter 2, Luke 21, it talks about the signs in the heavens. There was just a major eclipse. These eclipses are more and more coming more and more often. It's been in the past 7-8 years, it's been some major eclipses. And then, the sun, the solar flares and the chariot sightings and, the so-called UFO sightings. That's the Lord visiting this place. So, our times are very short here. The time we have left in this world is coming to an end. In a minute, nothing's gonna matter but your salvation. And you Christians that think that you're saved, you're not saved. I'm sorry, but you were lied to. Just because you call on a name that begins with the letter J, that is the false name. That is not going to save you in those times. It's not going to save you now. You can lose your life. What meaning does salvation has when you're dead? And not just a regular death, a painful death. We're not saved. No one is saved. We can hope to be part of the elect that's going to get saved. But the scriptures clearly say in Matthew 24, those that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. We're in the end now, and we have to endure. We're not saved until Yahweh shall come back and beam us up on those chariots, so-called UFOs. I said I was going to go to 2 Ezra 14. And Salakia from all over the place, but yeah, all of these things are connected that the guy was talking about. And it's of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. It's not something that the government just came up with. Even though they have Project Bluebeam, which, that's going to cause a lot of people to, they could make a chariot look like a small little green men inside, which, they doing that now. They got the guy that look like he's traveling. I believe he's from Atlanta, but he's traveling to different cities. He just blew up all of a sudden, dressed as a alien, and it looked real, but it's not real. All right, 2nd Esdras 14:14. It says, "Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." So we're about to go into some real heavy times. The Lord is like, don't even worry about that stuff. As a matter of fact, the scriptures say, cast your burdens upon the Lord. Like, really, don't even worry about like bills. And now just think, when everybody around you is losing their lives, it's a lot of death, war. Is your car note gonna matter? No. It ain't gonna even be no gas to put in that car. All right. There was something else I wanted to get. Okay. It kind of left out of my head for a moment, but hey, here go a good one. 2nd Esdras chapter 69. This is a classic. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Esau, the so-called white man, you can clearly see that he's the end of the world. Everything that's going on, Jake been killing each other in the streets. That's part of the curses. I should be evil towards your brother. The broken homes. It talks about the woman should be evil towards her children and her husband. These things been going on. We up under the curses. This is something new with Esau rising up against himself. This is something new. Like, these devils used to get along great. Now that they see that they are the devil, and don't get me wrong, all of these so-called white people are not Edomites. You got some white-looking Israelites. You got a lot of white-looking Israelites out there. And those are probably some of the ones that's coming up against these Edomites. So, but yeah, the scriptures talk about great confusion. It's a lot of confusion going on right now. It's a lot of confusion going on. One thing that got me confused, which this is just Esau being the devil. Why can a white man kill another white man and white people get mad at black people because of that? That doesn't make sense. But Esau is the devil. And that makes sense. He's a deceiver. A Republican can kill another Republican and blame it on Jake. And go after Jake. So yeah, now they saying, what is it, September 27th, don't come outside. Like, these devils really trying to get down. But we'll see. A lot of our people are going to get destroyed in the process. And but in the end, it's going to be their destruction. It's prophesied. The Lord is using these devils to take out 2/3 of our people. 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off and die. But the 1/3, You can't touch the 1/3, Esau. You try and touch the 1/3. It's not gonna happen. Those are reserved for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You cannot touch the 1/3. But yeah, these devils are about to get ready to fight each other. They're gonna come after Jake too, but you're gonna have a lot of other Edomites killing off Edomites. You're gonna have a lot of Edomites killing off Jake, and then the ultimate event that we're waiting for is World War III, and the major part of World War III is going to be Russia and America, and the allies that follow both sides. And then you're going to have American allies turning on them, turning on America. Said the beast shall hate the whore that sitteth on the beast. You got NATO, which is the beast system, and you got the whore, which is America. And no missiles that get shot on this place is gonna come from all these other countries. The NATO and the EU, Russia, China, North Korea, Japan, Iraq, Iran, Israel gonna get touched too. The land of Israel, not the Israelites. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Of course, we can go on various topics, but I just wanted to speak on it because all of these things are connected. The chariots, sightings, they call them UAPs or UFOs. The race wars, white people against other white people, city against city. You got troops going into different cities. The National Guards and the military headed towards Tennessee. All of these things are connected through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. As a matter of fact, for all of these things that's going on, call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. We want these things to happen. We want to get out of this place. We want salvation. All right. So yeah, once again, call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Also, double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. And shalom to the hopeful elect.